has been with somebody's girlfriend?
But they are for all of us now.
That's why you're still single.
I would not agree or disagree with that because I don't want to get into trouble. I have a home to go to.
Your next question. Oh, you ready to fail?
Who is the person you see on sports?
That woman.
Today
we'll go here.
Hey.
Let's catch up.
I'm sure we've been able to satisfy your cravings, yeah? Stay good. Entertainment for pure entertainment.
Now you can catch up with your favorite programs on TVC. Log on to www.youtube.com/TVC Entertainment. Join the fun.
Oh, wow. My typical day is filled with meetings, consultations, and of course, traffic.
Advocating, protesting, as the arts are meant to be.
Hello, TVC Communications. How can I help?
What makes TVC the right choice for my business?
Excellent question, sir. Let me share some exciting facts with you.
Start your day on TVC Entertainment with Wake Up Nigeria, a family and lifestyle show. Your view empowers women globally.
It's your view, let it count.
Entertainment Splash delivers the hottest celebrity trends. On TVC News, we keep you informed with breaking news and in-depth analysis of events shaping the world.
I will continue to speak the truth.
TVC News at 7 and TVC News at 10 p.m. delivers the most important stories of the day. Max FM, your hit music radio station, captivates listeners daily across Lagos and Abuja, making every commute more enjoyable. Adaba 88.9 FM is not left out, as it is the voice of Southwest. And on TVC Digital, we reach to million viewers daily. All together, pulls in over 17 million viewers daily. Contact us on 0707-272-8338 or marketing at tvccommunications.tv. Partner with TVC Communications today. Let's grow together.
Welcome to the show. Thank God it's Friday. I am Tokwe Mark Odige, and with me as usual are the beautiful ladies of Your View. Mariam is giving me Queen Amina vibes. Queen Mariam, Queen of
Zamuda.
We need to just embellish. Yes, and we're good. How you doing?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you for the compliment. You look so lovely too.
Thank you.
Yeah, so today I'm quite excited because I received an invitation. It says the presidential invitation to the Empowered Summit. It's being hosted by the special advisor to the president of Nigeria on arts, culture, and creative economy. Wow. So I'll be going there. So I brought my creativity on. So that was what that's the Zamunda Zazao thing that's going on here. So I'm looking forward to that today.
That's amazing. Very good. What's the gist of whatever happened going down there?
Yeah, carry us along.
Ramatu, what's going on?
It's going to be Netflix and chill weekend, and you know, guys.
And YouTube and chill weekend. Marriage Jirotu. What's wrong?
Okay, YouTube and everything chill weekend. Amazon Prime and chill weekend, everything. And you know, my friend turned. She was a year older earlier in the week, so we're going for her birthday party tomorrow. Kemi Adenuga, happy birthday! We're going to enjoy. So I'm going to stay there till it's time for Budebaki, because when it's time for us to break our fast, because I'm going to go there. I'm just going to see them eating and all of that. I'll just be telling them pack it. So after the whatever, when it's time for Budebaki, I'll sit down and have. And then, you know, Hobby has traveled, so I'm going to be the only one in the house. So the bed, only me. I'll just be rolling
to the right.
Roll,
and that's when you realize that you're actually missing somebody
on the bed. You know,
once
he's not around, like this lazy starts raised to power 1 the highest this thing. I'll just be lazy. I'll just be chilling around. You know, if I like, I won't even dress my bed self. Just be moving around as I like.
It's going to be
yeah.
Aside from my Jiro that is launching, that we're dropping this evening.
Every episode.
Yes, on Friday. What are we doing this weekend?
I have a lot of work in my hands. So I worked all night because I realized that we're looking for distributors in some states. So that's for Body by BC. So we have customers who are calling in from Calabar, Port Harcourt and Abuja, and the way the dispatch companies, is it what do they call them? Courier companies have increased their prices. Customers are so afraid because you are paying almost the same amount you used to buy one product to ship. It doesn't make sense. So we're calling for distributors. If you're living in those places, we have customers already. I'll send the customers to you. You can come in and distribute for Body by BC. We're NAFDAC certified. We're going to every part of Nigeria. So just hit me up. Let's do that. So we're working on that and among other things as well.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I need to sleep. I'm tired.
It's one
How
of
you
those
doing?
things when you are let's say birth pains. You're delivering. You're now delivering from Lagos. You want to move to other states. It's going to have its own faces. I'm planning my conference. Game of Money conference is in May. Early bird registration is open. If you do not pay early, you will be paying a higher amount of money. So this year is paid. Last year we did it free, and I felt like we had even though we had a full hall, we had less than 50% of those who registered and needed to come. And I felt like we're putting in so much effort into this. And there was also the comma of there wasn't food, and it's a packed conference. So the registration fee covers food, diary, pen, and I have Reverend Funke Felix Adejimo is speaking at the conference. Dr. Lemide is speaking at the conference.
Amazing.
I'm so excited, and I'm going to be cutting my cake at the conference.
Well done.
It's just 2 days to my birthday. We'll take a break now. I'm excited, obviously. When we return, the papers came very late. We're just going to read the headlines. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us. So we're starting our front page review with the Punch. I can't say nation. The Punch. Major headline. Federal government knocks Obasanjo as ex-president rates Buhari worst in corruption. President lampoons OBJ for warning Tinubu government may dwarf Buhari's fraud index. Then we have in other news, TET funds plans 700 billion naira disbursement to varsities. Customs intercept undeclared $1.1 million CS 135-900 at Kano Airport. And then we have fuel subsidy removal, save Nigerians from bankruptcy. Save Nigeria as a country from bankruptcy, says the president. Tax reforms, reps approve new VAT sharing formula for states. Good news. Federal government, foreign airlines begin talks over rising fares. 2027, PDP governors, Obi, NNP, Mo alliance to stop Tinubu. And suspension, embattled Natasha files fresh suit as Senate backs Akpabio. What story? We cannot take any story because everybody is just seeing the papers for the first time. So I'll move on to the next paper while my ladies go through. The Guardian. This is not arranged in our standard format. Like I said, it came late, so we're reading through it. Beauties of live television.
Yeah.
Dearth of first-class solutions, mock high turnover of varsity geniuses. So that's an article I think people should read. And it comes from Town to Gown. It's a big story. Reps pass amended naughty tax bill, retain 7.5 VAT. So we're looking forward to how that is implemented across the states. Obi's return to PDP imminent. Engages party stalwarts, governor forum. So we're expecting how that will pan out. Again, TCN battles vandals as 4 towers collapse, worsen grid supply. We're feeling it. Nigeria risks disaster from over 1,260 open mine pits. Expert warn. Dangote Foundation launches 16 billion naira food aid for 1 million Nigerians. Inmates dying in custodial centers due to poor feeding, panel finds. And no amount of coalition can oust Tinubu in 2027, says Teller. We also have the story of Natasha, Senator Natasha, Senate President, National Assembly Clerk, orders face contempt charge, and Fubara Tax Assembly on Supreme Court ruling amid calls for the CG probe. Moving on to our next paper. We have Nigerian Tribune. Major headline, obviously the tax is a big deal. Tax reform bills, reps restrict president's powers to exempt waiver and tax payments. They've approved 55%, 35% VAT allowance for states and local governments, and solid minerals royalty increases to 7.5% to 10% from what it was, which was 3% to 5%. Okay. And the exempt security personnel from personal income tax. In other news, former President Buhari pledges loyalty to APC amid El Rufai's defection to SDP. Customs intercepts undeclared 1.1 million at Kano Airport. History would judge Tinubu favorably, from our information minister. Dangote Foundation targets 1 million Nigerians with 1 million bags of rice worth 16 billion naira. Akpabio gets senators' confidence vote as Senator Natasha files contempt charges against him, others. Damagun to PDP members, stop encouraging APC government out of fear. According to them, they've inaugurated South-South Zonal Caretaker Committee, and they say, let's focus on our problems first, not outsiders. Over 500 shops raised at Aleshiloye Market, NEMA confirms. We took that story yesterday as well, actually. And Olugbo's returned, a royal resurgence. So we're moving on to the next paper.
Observation. You mentioned the Dangote 16 billion.
Yes.
I said refinery business must be good.
Yes,
the
foundation
is billion.
Is a positive way to be in the papers.
Yeah,
yeah, but and 1 million Nigerians will be happier when they get a bag of rice each. Moving on to Vanguard. Major headline is a tax bill. So I think probably when we take a break and return, we can discuss the tax bill a bit, because it's the new thing that has been passed, and it's interesting because it was controversial for a long time. In other news, Nigeria on the brink, but there's hope. That's from the Catholic bishops. Rivers crisis will shock Tinubu if Fubara's impeached. That's from Igbesu. And Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway, Obasanjo free not to use road when completed. That's from the Minister Humai. Federal government to curb borrowing by optimizing assets and resource mobilization. That's from the Minister Edu. Millions of Nigerians still struggle with poor internet access. As from another minister, Tinubu has performed very well.
According
in
to
quotes.
Peter Obi.
The very well is in quotes from Peter Obi. And will enact Fly Nigeria Act to boost local airline. That's from the Minister for Aviation, Keyamo. Okay, so we have gone through the headlines of all the papers. We'll be taking a break. When we return, we'll see what we can discuss within the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Oh, wow. My typical day is filled with meetings, consultations, and of course, traffic. And that's all part of the hustle and bustle of city life. But the real fun starts when I can just settle down and catch up with all my favorite programs on TVC. Believe me, it's pure entertainment.
TVC Communications, Nigeria's leading independent broadcast company, has been officially designated as a great place to work. Over the past 3 years, we have transformed our workplace into one which is respectful, caring, rewarding, and provides great benefits to all our 500 employees. We thank our team for giving us the chance to show that partnership between employer and employee really works. TVC Communications, officially designated as a great place to work, and now the only broadcasting and media company not just in Nigeria but throughout continental Africa to be fully certified. TVC Communications, a great Nigerian company, a great Nigerian place to work.
Do you think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regular.
So let me go and look for my jam results.
My 280 was 320. I suppose don't be one medical.
At this point, I contest my jam results.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
That's all we can take. Ejeki, close the show here for that long.
Ladies and gentlemen, #1 unavailable by Davido featuring Musa Keys.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, 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 shiny, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for #1 on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now. His name is Rema, and this one is called Charm. Kick it.
Another.
For dessert and a bit of nightcap, we have the nighttime and online specials.
I want to start the gym, yeah? But do you know one thing that's actually keeping me back? You should start the gym, though. You're getting fat. Cricket.
She says she does pole dancing to empower women.
What's the difference? There's a difference.
That's what I'm saying. So pole dancer,
you're already almost naked. You're already almost naked.
No, it's the empowerment for me.
Sex can make your relationship better.
No. Sex can never be overrated.
It is needed.
Especially when it's good sex too.
Almost every guy has been with somebody's girlfriend.
But they are for all of us now.
That's why you're still single.
I would not agree or disagree with that because I don't want to get into trouble. I have a home to go to.
Your next question.
Oh, you ready to fail?
Who is the better useless? What is his name?
That woman.
Bam! Bam! Yeah,
Today we'll go here.
Hey!
Let's catch up now.
I'm sure we've been able to satisfy your cravings, yeah? Stay tuned. Entertainment for pure entertainment.
Now you can catch up with your favorite programs on TVC. Log on to www.youtube.com/TVC Entertainment. Join the fun.
Oh, wow. My typical day is filled with meetings, consultations, and of course, traffic. And that's all part of the hustle and bustle of city life. But the real fun starts when I can just settle down and catch up with all my favorite programs on TVC. Believe me, it's pure entertainment.
TVC Communications, Nigeria's leading independent broadcast company, has been officially designated as a great place to work. Over the past few years, we have transformed our workplace into one which is respectful,
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. So we're going to be starting the front page review paper by paper, and I know Mariam is ready to go.
Yes, so I have it. This is the Tribune. Dangote Foundation targets 1 million Nigerians with 1 million bags of rice worth 16 billion naira. So over 1 million Nigerians nationwide will receive a 10 kg bag of rice each, as Aliko Dangote Foundation Thursday launched its 2025 annual National Food Intervention Project valued at 16 billion. Mr. Aliko Dangote, who was represented by his daughter Maria Aliko Dangote, said that this is an annual initiative which embodies compassion, solidarity, and shared responsibility. It's part of our response to the current economic challenges facing our nation. It reflects our commitment to supporting our communities in line with our core values. They said that the distribution of the 1 million bags of 10 kg rice to the poor and most vulnerable in Nigeria in the 774 local government areas is in line with their core values. It will start from Kano State, and then they'll go on ahead, and they're working closely with state governments so that these bags of rice get to the most vulnerable. I said this is a job for the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs. I know that they've been working on collating information, proper information and data on our most vulnerable, so that every time there are interventions like that, it gets to the people. So I hope that the foundation works with that department making sure that,
the right people
everyone,
get it.
Yes, everyone gets that.
Okay, so I have a story from The Punch. I'm talking, Tedford plans 700 billion disbursements to varsities. They said the president has approved the disbursement of over 700 billion naira to tertiary institutions through the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, with benefiting universities expected to get 2.8 billion. He said the TED Fund boss, that's Sonny Echonu, announced this at a strategic planning meeting. He said that the allocation structure, stating that 91.08% of the funds will be distributed directly, 48.90% for annual direct disbursement, 42.18% for special direct disbursements. He also said 8.72% is for designated projects, then 0.20% is allocated to stabilization funds. He said every university will receive 2.8 billion, polytechnics 1.9 billion, colleges of education 2.1 billion as annual direct disbursement. He said that they are all going to focus on physical infrastructure, upgrading, rehabilitating and renovating dilapidated facilities in all these institutions. And he also said that they're going to increase allocations for research and innovation, academic staff training and development, as well as manuscript and book development.
Okay.
He also urged that institutional heads to commence early implementation of their allocations, consult with their communities and ensure timely payments to contractors and vendors. I hope that with these funds there won't be strike, so that at least our students will be able to graduate in time.
Go back to school. Yeah. So I also have a story in the Tribune. Custom intercepts undeclared $1.1 million at Kano Airport. The person can't catch. The Nigerian Customs Service said it had intercepted undeclared 1.1 million, that's US dollars, and 135,900 Saudi riyals at the Malam Aminu Kano International Airport in Kano. And according to the news agency of Nigeria, the NCS spokesperson, Abdullahi Maiwada, was the one who talked about this yesterday. And he said the seizure was made recently during a routine baggage check on an inbound passenger who arrived on Saudi airline flights from Saudi Arabia. And he explained that during the physical examination of the passenger's luggage by NCS officers, the undeclared currency was found concealed within packs of palm dates. They said interception aligned with NCS commitment to enforcing financial regulations and preventing illicit financial flows across Nigeria borders. In line with the established procedures, the suspect and the seized foreign currency have been handed over to the EFCC, that's the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, for further investigation, and then necessary legal action will be taken. Subsequently, the court convicted the defendant as charged and ordered the forfeiture of the undeclared money to the federal government in line with provisions of the Money Laundering Act. You know that anytime you're traveling now, they ask you to declare. I think an individual is not supposed to go with more than $10,000. You have to declare it. And this person had mind to bring in 1.1 million. Please, how many luggages? How did they pack the money?
They said they eat it inside now. So that's money laundry. That's
it.
That's how they
$1.1 million. Are we
There's
faint?
money.
I see that money.
There's money. There's money.
Are we faint?
I'm here. I'm a vessel.
No, if I see it like
Moving
that.
on to let me take a story from Vanguard. So the issue regarding the tax reform, which has been signed by the speaker, is something every Nigerian should be aware of, because whether you are aware of it or not, its impact would it would impact on your finances. But one of the things that they struck out of that was the desire to increase the tax, the VAT. The plan was that by 2026 to be 12.5%, but the National Assembly has said that they were going to retain the VAT at 7.5%, but they changed how it was going to be shared. So 50% to be shared equally, 20% will be shared based on population, and 30% based on production, which is wherever consumption, wherever the VAT, not where it is paid, where the product was consumed is where 30% of the funds will go to. But something of interest that I feel everybody should also pay attention to is the fact that what they just passed now, there are a few exemptions. Before, governors, the governors and presidents cannot give, what was omitted, grant tax waivers. And there's always been question about these tax waivers. Now, before a president or the governor can grant tax waivers, they must come to the National Assembly for approval. before those tax waivers. Nigeria is still one of the countries where we pay the lowest tax in Africa. That's the truth. So we might not like the idea of a tax reform that is increasing the burden on us financially. There's now a 2 million naira fine and a maximum jail term of 3 years if you are found bribing a tax official. I was waiting to see if there will be fine for the tax official that is extorting as well, so that we're not putting the burden on just one side. But there are many things we should get ourselves abreast on concerning the tax reform. Mariam, back to Tribune.
Back to Tribune. So I have this sad story. The National Emergency Management NEMA Southwest Zone has said over 500 shops were raised at the Aleshiloye market in Ibadan. This happened Wednesday. The NEMA zonal coordinator, using his X handle, says that the recorded losses, NEMA puts the recorded losses at hundreds of millions of naira. He added that some of the affected traders had taken delivery of their plastic wares a day prior to the incident. But he said the inferno has disrupted economic activities at the market. No fatality was recorded, thank God. But several people sustained minor injuries from smoke inhalation and shock while attempting to salvage their goods. 500 shops and stalls were destroyed. The eyewitness says the fire started at the plastic plastic merchant section before it spread to surrounding stalls. As we know, plastic is quite flammable, so that's where most of it started. And they are working together with NEMA as well as some private companies like Sumal and Sweetco to help prevent further spread of the fire and just help with containing it. And the next thing I guess we're talking about is insurance, hoping that they're able to get back on their feet somewhat. This is really sad.
I think insurance company needs to market a lot of markets
I'm
more.
Sure market more. But people never trust till this kind of thing happens.
Yeah, so I have the federal government, that's the foreign airlines, begin talks with Rising First. They said the federal government, through the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace, that's Festus Keyamo, has disclosed ongoing efforts to address the high cost of air tickets for both domestic and international travels. And he outlined key factors contributing to these exorbitant fares. He said there is limited access to affordable aircraft listing, then trapped funds of foreign airlines and high airport taxes. He also noted that that the struggle to lease aircraft at competitive rates is forcing them to opt for costly leasing of the outright purchase of the aircraft, which ultimately affects ticket prices. That's the reason why the ticket price is very, very high. But that they are working on how they can lease this aircraft at a lower cost, such that so that the fares will be less and so that people will be able to afford it as much as possible. So works is going on.
Yeah, so I have the story here by the Catholic bishops. Vanguard. Nigeria on the brink, but there's hope. So the Catholic Bishops Conference of Nigeria, CBCN, has cautioned that the country stands at a critical juncture and worsening socio-economic hardship and insecurity, but they said that there's still hope. We just have to keep hoping. And they called on the leaders and citizens to take responsibility for driving positive change. Now, in a communique yesterday, following their first plenary meeting of 2025, the bishops outlined their concerns and recommendations for national development. The communique was by the National Director of Social Communications, FR Michael Omo, by Archbishop Lucius Ugoji, who is the president of the CBCN, and Bishop Donatus Ogun, secretary of the CBCN, and they acknowledged that there's progress in the petroleum sector, road rehabilitation, student loans, a new minimum wage, and debt reduction. All these things, we're seeing the efforts. But they said that the gains have been overshadowed by severe economic hardship, food inflation, and insecurity. They also stated that despite recent positive development, Nigeria faces serious challenges, including socioeconomic hardships, insecurity, rising youth unemployment, and high cost of essential goods. And they are asking that we all work together to pursue unity and national integration. Political, religious, and traditional leaders must also foster hope and development. They talked about the Nigeria electoral system as well. They said, 2023, we didn't do so badly, but people should not lose faith. We need to do better for the next one. So they are calling on the Independent National Electoral Commission, that's INEC, security agencies and judiciary to restore the trust in the system, among other things they talked about.
That's what we can take on front page review for today. There was a story that really caught my eye about inmates dying in custodial centers due to poor feeding condition, and it is a major one. there's a particular group of people, independent investigative panel on the alleged corruption, abuse of power, torture, cruel, inhumane and degrading treatment of inmates against the Nigerian Correctional Service. They actually checked all the correctional services and they said every single one of them, the food that you would see being eaten by inmates is so small that people are dying of starvation, and that the custodial centers actually have farms, 12 farms, but very few of those farms are working. And the ones working, when the food produced by the prisoners are not being consumed by them. They are sold. So they need food, but the farm is producing food and the food is being sold and then brought back into the place. There's something fishy going on there. If it is truly a custodial and correctional center, we should be doing better to those people there. We'll take a break now. When we return, we'll continue with the show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
TVC Communications, Nigeria's leading independent broadcast company, has been officially designated as a great place to work. Over the past 3 years, we have transformed our workplace into one which is respectful, caring, rewarding, and provides great benefits to all our 500 employees. We thank our team for giving us the chance to show that partnership between employer and employee really works. TVC Communications, officially designated as a great place to work, and now the only broadcasting and media company, not just in Nigeria, but throughout continental Africa, to be fully certified. TVC Communications, a great Nigerian company, a great Nigerian place to work.
Do you think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regular.
So let me go and look for my jammies. So
My 280 was 320. I suppose don't be one medical.
At this point, I contest my jammies.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
That's all we can take. Ejeki, close the show, you Fadala.
Ladies and gentlemen, number 1 unavailable by Davido featuring Musa Keys.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, 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 shiny, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for number 1 on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now. His name is Ramadan, and this one is called Charm. Kick it.
Another.
For dessert and a bit of nightcap, we have the nighttime.
Ramadan, the 9th month in the Islamic calendar, is here again. This is a wonderful time to learn more about Islam and give to the cause of Allah. It's also a time when extra emphasis is on charity and good neighborliness. From the first day to the last day of Ramadan, join us on TVC from 3 to 6 a.m. every day for Ramadan Kareem, recitation of verses in the Quran, tafsir by great Islamic scholars, Ask the Sheikh for clarity on Ramadan and Islam. What's more, you can learn and win great prizes on the Ramadan quiz segment, all spiced up with soul-stirring nasheed.
Asking for a sign from you, 'cause I'm so broke inside.
Ramadan Kareem on TVC from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. every day in Ramadan. To participate, call or visit our marketing department, TVC Communications Limited, Eko Atlantic City, Victoria Island, Lagos. Telephone 0708 066 8003 or 0708 066 8004. You can also log on to www.tvccommunications.tv. Ramadan Kareem.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. So we are going into a special feature segment, and in this segment we'll generally be talking about the importance of breakfast, what an ideal breakfast should be, and the benefits of having cereal, especially if one is running late as an adult or a child. And you can also share with us how you inoculate your healthy breakfast into your morning routine. So join the conversation by calling us on 0902 416 3440, or you can tweet to us at x.com. Please hashtag YourViewTVC. We'd love to hear from you. So cereal for breakfast is like something we all grew up hearing about, we grew up seeing, we grew up experiencing, and as parents, I think at some point in time many of us did it as a way to manage the time. But Mariam, what has been your experience with cereal and putting in cereal during last minute's breakfast?
It's definitely convenient. So, one thing about cereal is that it is convenient, and sometimes convenience, is important when you are rushing out to go to work or to go to school. So yes, I would definitely say convenience and cereal. Yeah,
they go hand in hand.
They go hand in hand.
Yeah.
So for me, the cereal, I try to, because every time, yes, it's very convenient, just like what Miriam said. And then sometimes I try to be innovative with it, in the sense that now I've started adding fruit. Sometimes I'll add grapes, I'll add apples, sliced apples, so that just to make it a bit, dramatic and,
more
interesting. Just to make it interesting. And so recently my kids, they enjoy the fact that all those things are in it, and they always prep and
excited to take cereal,
and they look forward to it every morning. That's all.
How are you doing?
Cereal.
Did you know that somehow our children have outgrown that breakfast early morning thing. So this is me asking you to dig back to when you had to do breakfast, back then, because really I'm not in that space where I'm doing.
You have to eat before you go to school.
You have to eat before you go to school, that kind of thing. Sometimes I don't feel like eating. I'm not really hungry right now. So,
and I let them be. So back then, like I've shared a few times, cereal was just the go-to, because I was a working mom, prepping for school, or guys prepping for work. I'm trying to get the children ready. Cereals were just the best thing I could do. You know, make sure that I feed them in the morning and then pack when they are going to their creches. And then when they're going to nursery classes, make sure that they have their cereal packed. At that time, I didn't have the idea of including fruits, like you just mentioned there. Then it was just easy, go easy. Just make sure there's milk, there's water, and then teach the crèche mistress how to prepare it. These are the measurements and all of that to make sure that the kids eat. And sometimes at night, when maybe they don't want to eat any other thing that you have, we give it to them. But now the kids are grown. We don't do breakfast in my house. They don't even wake up early if they are around in the first place. They wake up from 12. So in our house we eat, we eat from food is from 12, and also because of some issues we just don't do breakfast. But I know now that they like to eat cereal sometime. And they mix it, however, they watch all this TikTok and all of that. They have their teenagers. They know what to mix and what to eat. They experiment with their food, and that's okay. They cook most of the time, and that's okay. But I know that at the time I was, sorting them out with the breakfast, it just sort of helped them to pay attention in class before sleeping. You don't sleep because when you're hungry, you would likely sleep. And as a child, you cannot say when you're hungry and your mom is not in front of you and all of that. So just make sure that they fill up their stomach before they go to school, and it worked at the time.
So for me, what I definitely did cereal. I packed cereal because I remember that for like one whole year, 3 terms, I think it was even 2 terms, I backed out. We were doing school bus, and the school bus, the way the school bus route was, they had to pick my twins first, so they were in the bus for a very long time. From them, they pick up every other child before they get to school, and it was too early to start stuffing them. So I felt cereal was like the easiest thing to eat, until I discovered that while inside that bus, my children have eaten the cereal dry. The cereal did not get to school. They just opened their plastic and they chew it, and even till now
they like to chew.
We don't add water to cereal. If once you add water to that cereal, they pour it away. They want to eat it like that. So it's now a case of, how do we find this balance? I have to monitor them. Once they dish their cereal, I say, pour water now in front of me.
But they can actually chew and then drink water. It's not the same
I just feel it's the licking of the milk. I don't you realize you want to take this cup of cereal and you're using 2 cups of milk to take 1 cup of cereal. So but I then when I had that conflict and I was like, let me get sachet milk in the house, they are wasting milk. I said, see, these are the children that need the milk. These things has trace minerals and all of that, so I should let the children take the milk and enjoy themselves. So I feel that at the end of the day, each family will go through their own season
journey,
and their own journey. But as parents, we should be observant. Know what your child likes, know what is healthy for your child, know what your child is reacting to, because sometimes some things would sound good for BC and it might not work for TMU's children. And it might work for Mariam's kids, and in my house it would not work. So each family needs to find what works for them per time,
Okay, so let me add something to what you just said. My daughter, there was a time my daughter started using this cereals instead of breadcrumbs. She will now use, chicken to fry chicken. So she'll put it, the chicken around it and then fry it. And it's really very nice. It tastes very, very lovely. So that's another way of using cereal for breakfast.
People, everybody just watching this now we're going to think of,
looking for breadcrumbs.
Yes, let me experiment. That's the thing, adventure and all of that. But I need Mariam to... of course, that's what we can take. I was thinking somebody will call in to tell us their own breakfast story, how they infused cereal into their breakfast as a way to solve it. But we haven't gotten any calls yet. I have a feeling that the calls will come in once we round off this segment. Please, when you call, just don't bother calling on this topic anymore. You can just tweet it and put it on social. We'll read the comments on YouTube. Yeah, we'll read it on YouTube and on x.com. We'll take a break now. When we return, we'll go into our hot topic for the day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regulars,
So let me go and look for my jam results. So
My 280 was 320. I suppose don't be one medical.
You be like person with your fortune.
At this point, I contest my jam results.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
Okay, that's all we
Nigeria,
can
but
take.
I choose to
Ejek,
stay.
close the show, Yi Fadala.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, at number 1, Unavailable by Davido featuring Musa Keys.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, 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 shiny, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for number 1 on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now, his name is Ramadan, and this one is called Charm. Kick it.
Another.
For dessert and a bit of nightcap, we have the nighttime and online specials.
I want to start the gym, yeah? But do you know one thing that's actually keeping me back? You should start the gym to get fat. Cricket.
She says she does pole dancing to empower women.
What's the difference? There's a difference.
That's what I'm saying.
So pole dancer, you're already almost naked. You're already almost naked.
That's the empowerment for me.
Sex can make your relationship better.
No. Sex can never be overrated.
It is needed.
Especially when it's good sex too.
Almost every guy has been with somebody's girlfriend.
But they are for all of us now.
That's why you're still single.
I would not agree or disagree with that because I don't want to get into trouble. I have a home to go to.
Your next question.
Oh, you ready to fail?
Who is the better? You see us. What is his name?
That woman.
Bam! Bam!
Yeah, today we'll go here.
Hey!
Let's catch up now.
I'm sure we've been able to satisfy your cravings, yeah? Stay good. TVC Entertainment for pure entertainment. Now you can catch up with your favorite programs on TVC. Log on to www.youtube.com/TVC Entertainment. Join the fun.
Do you think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regulars.
So let me go and look for my jam results. So
My 280 was 320. I suppose don't be one medical.
You be like person with your fortune.
at this point, I contest my jam results.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
Okay, that's
I
all we
live
can
Nigeria, but I
take.
choose to stay.
Ejek, close the show, Yi Fadala.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, at number 1, Unavailable by Davido featuring Musa Keys.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, 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 shiny, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for number 1 on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now, his name is Ramadan, and this one is called Charm. Kick it.
Another.
For dessert and a bit of nightcap, we have the nighttime and online specials.
I want to start the gym, yeah, but do you know one?
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Filmmaker Kunle Afolayan has expressed his, dissatisfaction. He went online and expressed himself. And what he said is our topic for conversation today. Mariam, would you want to give us a hint about what he...
Okay.
So he expressed frustration on the high level of incompetence among job seekers in Nigeria. He took to Instagram to lament the lack of preparedness, inefficiency of many unemployed individuals in the country, and he lamented that many people cry out about not having jobs. When they get one, they are inefficient. He was very expressive about the high level of incompetence in the country. He said they cry about not having a job. They get one, they are inefficient. I'm so pissed right now, according to him. So I would like to get your thoughts on this. I would like entrepreneurs to call. I would like to get the young people to call. Like maybe they are calling us inefficient for nothing. Join the conversation by calling us on 0201 635 2013 or 090241 63440. You can also tweet to us at x.com, #YourViewTVC, and we're also streaming live on YouTube, and the ladies would love to hear from you. So we've spoken about this in different ways, the incompetence that that we've seen, or attitude to work, but I think in his own case is more of a direct employment versus inefficiency. Like you say you can deliver A, and we employ you for A, and then found out that you're not even willing to try to deliver A. So what do you think about this? Have you experienced something similar to what he expressed, Mariam, and what did you?
And the first thing you said was like among youths. He didn't say youths. He said individual. Generally. So it's not about Gen Z. Don't be calling Gen Z out. They are not the only problem. There's so many people right now. I've had to deal with a few who I feel like there's widespread inefficiency in the world. Because, there was one time I was listening to, podcasts from different parts of the world, and they're talking about inefficiency. Yes, in America as well. So this thing is big. And I feel that a lot of people, there's just widespread knowledge. So a lot of us read up on things and we feel, I know this, of course, I know everything about it. But the work that people put in to understand it, the training, you don't have it. The fact that you have read a little about it, you have a little bit of information here and there, you just feel that you know it. And then when the work comes, there's nothing to show for it. I was just saying to my PA the other day that we're interviewing for something, and I said, if it's to talk, Nigerians, if it's to tell you what they can do, they will tell you, you'll be listening, you'll be like, wow, you mean you can do that? Then the job comes. They're looking at you and you're looking at them. They're expecting you now to give it to them. But, one, I feel is just that a lot of people don't want to put in the work. Secondly, I also feel that this, like I said, we feel that the moment we have some knowledge of it, we know how to express it in words, then we know it. After all, what does it take? And there's this thing. I feel that motivational speakers are to blame in some way. Where they will tell you, where they will tell you, when they ask you if you can do a job, you don't need to know how to do it. Just say yes. I feel that has misled a lot of people. Just say yes. Just say yes.
I feel like I've said that several times.
I need to bring my driver here. My driver, I said to him when he joined, I said, do you know everywhere? He said, yeah, I've been driving. I used to drive for a bank. I was their pool driver. We used to go marketing. I was like, really? Until we now got on the road, he does not know any road.
Oh my God!
Anywhere he does
That's
not
happened
know.
to me too.
Then I said to him, But do you have Google Maps? Do you know how to use Google Maps? Even WhatsApp, you cannot use. God. It was so
you cannot drive and do something else. You have to be directing him.
Yes. And I believe it's because someone must have said to him, you don't have to tell them the truth. Just tell them yes. And when you get there, they'll figure it out. And we are figuring it out. So, but imagine if you were a doctor. Imagine if you were in some very delicate sector. You know how it will affect. So for me, I feel there is widespread incompetence generally among youth and older. Yes.
I'm catching the sob. I I've said it to people several times, and I've done it.
Please put some context.
But yes, it's not literally.
So even if I tell you to, I will not start putting it. But people say that thing that if they say, "Can you do it?" Say yes, I can do it, and then I quickly go and research and learn how to. So it's the speed of the learning.
That's one too. That's also when you are starting. When you're just starting, you get to a point in your life where you cannot just be dabbling. You pick where you want to be, and you now start going deep into where you can't just be jumping. Somebody calls me now to say, "Can you teach French?" And I say yes because I want to go and read it. With which brain? Have I finished doing my work? You know, when I was younger, I would have said yes, and then I go and look for my pre-degree books and start. Do you understand? But you get to that point where you grow into it. But let's come back to the topic. I like how Miriam has started. It's an issue, it's an epidemic in the country. And if you are an employer of labor, you would have found that this is actually what is everywhere. You hardly find people who come in and they're able to deliver what they have promised. And what I see is not just about the people. Now, it's about systems. One of the reasons I thrived as a classroom teacher in an international school for 5 years was I didn't study education, right? I was a graduate. And then I applied to be a graduate trainee and who were brought in. And the first few weeks, like about 6 weeks, we were camped and we were trained on the 21st century teaching methods. So whether I studied education, you know, as long as you're a graduate, you can speak English, come and you will learn. So we had to drop everything we knew and then we learned. And we're also given an enabling environment to flourish. They were, in fact, as a classroom teacher, I used to close like 6, 7 every day. We'll have in-house trainings, we'll have, you know, follow-up, pair group and all of that. So it made it easy for us to learn the job properly, get acquainted with the basics of it, get in, and then we are constantly being evaluated. So everybody had to sit up, everybody had to show up, everybody had to do the work with so much joy. Like it was new, it was interesting. Even me that did not read education in school, that was when I found the love for education, right? We don't have those sort of systems here when we employ. Probably because we don't have a culture of training people. One, we are afraid that after training them, they will leave. So we don't want to invest in them. And then you bring somebody, and the way our educational system is, you're not even trained to, you're just learning, cramming, and leaving the place. When you get into the workspace, you now realize that, oh, for me to be able to do this job, there are certain skills I need. And then you get into the place and you don't even have those skills, and they're expecting you to perform magic. So it's not just for us to sit down and say, okay, there's a lot of incompetence. We need to find a way to make sure that we are not enabling the incompetence. That's one. The attitude to work is another thing that I see. Many people, probably because of the way our religious leaders have preached to us, we all have to be the head and not the tail. And if you see an animal that has just heads, that animal is a monster. We can be the tail and be an effective tail. We can be excellent at being the hand. This is my full body now. My hand has its function. My head has its function. My leg has its function. The leg cannot be saying, I have to be the head. Today I'm the one that's going to speak English here. It's not the mouth, right? But if we are allowed to flourish in our capacity, there are people that are meant to work for other people, and they will have a life. They will be happy doing that. For the rest of their life, they won't set up their own business, and they have not failed. They will excel working for other people. There are people that are meant to be the ones to, that are the pace setters to create the business. Now, all of us cannot be creating businesses. All of us cannot be CEOs. All of us cannot be creative directors. All of us, everybody has their place. So when you go to religious houses and they tell you that for you to succeed in life, you just have to be the head, it becomes a problem. Now, there's no dignity of labor. You are working for somebody, but you're not happy that you're working for the person. You're feeling, after all, I'll go and do my own. And we see it with artisans, right? Artisans start training for a job. They don't finish no completion. They don't learn small. Mechanic now, don't learn small. Do tire, do this one, do that one. You never even understand engine work. You don't go set up your own shop. You don't collect small money.
You took that from my mind.
Go set up your own shop. Now you have not groomed yourself. You have. That's why I like the Igbo system of a business, where you have to go through
And
training
learn,
for years and learn the thing. Apprenticeship. Thank you. So that when you come out, you can stand on your own. Those are some of the things that we have to start looking into if we're going to solve this issue of you know, unemployment. Should I go on? Or let's move.
Okay, so yeah, so me too, I'm facing this, because me too, I'm an employer. Yeah, so the thing, what I've realized is that what I've noticed amongst people who come to look for jobs is the fact that most of them, they go to this job because they want to make money. It's not that they are passionate about coming to deliver, or they have something innate in them that they want to deliver to make the company move forward. And most times, you know, it starts from the fact that most of them, they will apply for a particular course and then, you know, gain admission into university, but they will not go and study that course that they applied for. They may give them another course. So from there already, you've already killed their spirit and all. And then, you know, they'll send you CV. If you see their CV,
too much English.
Oh my God, they have worked in this number of experience, this, that. By the time you come and you ask them, explain all of these things, they can't even explain. And then by the time you come in, because at some point, you know, I was, you know, having that difficulty changing them here and there. So one time I was like, how do I make them part of this business? Okay, maybe I'll ask them, what do you want to be? As they are working for me, what do you want on the other side, on the side, so we can develop, you can develop my business, and also you can develop
your own,
and you can grow your own. One told me that he's not interested in anything. No, as soon as he's done, he's looking for any of this reality, this thing to join.
Reality show?
Yes, reality show. If I even specified, he said I want to join Big Brother. That he has been applying for how many years? So, madam, just employ me for the first, maybe I'll work with you for a year, but after this year, I'm praying and working towards getting on any of this reality. So a lot of them are looking for that fast money. So because of that fast money, they are not putting in their very best into the whole thing. And again, most of the time when they come, they plan, you know, because they want to make that fast money, they'll start planning on how to steal your business
from you.
They'll start stealing and all. So all of these things are all factors that promote inefficiency and this thing in workplace.
Let me take a quick break. I have listened to my powerful ladies. I've taken notes, and I'm sure those watching at home are thinking, is it my fault? Where could I do better? We'll dig deep into how to resolve this issue, because it's easy to point the finger and blame someone. But do we not realize that we are part of the people that make up this group that we're complaining about, and what we could have done better, how we could improve the situation? We'll talk more about all of this after we return from the break. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regulars.
So let me go and look for my jam results. So
My 280 was 320. I suppose don't be one medical.
At this point, I contest my jam results.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
That's all we can take. Ejeki, close the show. Give Adala.
Ladies and gentlemen, number one, Unavailable by Davido featuring Musa Keys.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, shiny, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for number one on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now. His name is Ramadan, and this one is called Charm. Kick it.
Another.
For dessert and a bit of nightcap, we have the nighttime and online specials.
I want to start the gym, yeah? But do you know one thing that's actually keeping me back? You should start the gym to get fat. Cricket.
She says she does show dancing to empower women.
What's the difference? There's a difference.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. So pole dancer, you're already almost naked. You're already almost naked.
That's the empowerment for me.
Sex can make a relationship better.
No. Sex can never be overrated.
It is needed.
Especially when it's good sex too.
almost every guy has been with somebody's girlfriend.
But they're for all of us now.
That's why you're still single.
I will not agree or disagree with that because I don't want to get into trouble. I have a home to go to.
Your next question.
Oh, you ready to fail?
Who is the person that used to what is his name?
That woman.
Bam! Bam!
Yeah, today we'll go here.
Hey!
Let's catch up now.
I'm sure we've been able to satisfy your cravings, yeah? Stay tuned. TVC Entertainment for pure entertainment. Now you can catch up with your favorite programs on TVC. Log on to www.youtube.com/TVC Entertainment. Join the fun.
Oh, wow. My typical day is filled with meetings, consultations, and of course, traffic. And that's all part of the hustle and bustle of city life. But the real fun starts when I can just settle down and catch up with all my favorite programs on TVC. Believe me, it's pure entertainment.
TVC Communications, Nigeria's leading
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. So we'll be discussing the conversation that was initially started by Kunle Afolayan on social media regarding the fact that a lot of people, he didn't even say young or old people, say they don't have jobs, and then they get the jobs and they are inefficient in the job. So the ladies had already highlighted a few things that I felt were extremely important. We spoke about incomplete trainings. That is so true. Somebody is trying to learn hairdressing or trying to learn, it's not just even artisans. You know, people they just do 2 months and they feel like, I know enough. Yeah. Let me go and make the money. And their lack of comprehensive training shows up as inefficiency when asked to deliver on some job, because the fact that you know one doesn't mean that you know all and you know it very well. Then attitude to work. I think Mariam, you mentioned attitude to work was also an issue that someone mentioned. Lack of proper internal training. Now, one of the things that a lot of small business suffer from this, unlike the school you worked in is not a small business. It is a structured big business. Many banks, you don't just get employed and they just put you at front desk or just throw you somewhere. There is a training program. So you don't give someone detailed job description and you blame the person for being inefficient. You cannot, there has to be clearly detailed expectation before you can blame someone for not delivering on the expectation. So I think that there's a huge gap in that area as well. I have suffered it, and we're trying to put a structure of training in place where once you come in, there is a detailed training of what you're, all the things that you are expected to do. You are trained on how to do it so that I can hold you accountable. Now, of course, you can still do all those training and still find some people say that they are not efficient in their work or they are unable to deliver because there's just, Nigerians can have excuses, and we always feel like there's a story of you are not nice if you don't hear my story. But I feel like there is blame to the right and to the left. The right being the employee and the left being the employer, and both parties need to work together to get proper to get the right solution. Other countries you go to, you realize that the kind of employees that you meet in other countries are different kind of employees you meet in Nigeria. The attitude to work of a Nigerian is different from the attitude to work of an Indian. Totally different. The way they embrace their work, the diligence with which they do their work is totally different. It is
it with
cultural.
joy.
There is a cultural
with
leaning
joy.
that Nigerians have, that when you see very efficient and effective ones, they seem like exceptions and not the rule. Because majority of workers are complaining and lamenting. You wanted the job, you now see work finish, and like,
after 2 months.
This work is too much, all of that, you know. So it's how do we find that balance culturally?
So talking about, because at first we talked about the employees. I spoke about the employees and how they can be inefficient. But as we've all mentioned here, employers too have a huge role to play in how effective their employees can be. So one of the things I hear constantly, a lot of people who tell you that they just do their best. So either they show up and then work with you for a short period of time, or they show up but they're just giving you the barest minimum. They say, you've employed me to do this, this, and this, and this, and you're paying me, how much are you paying me? You know?
If you ask for more.
And you as the employer, you know that if you want to employ someone to do all this, there's an amount of money, at least minimum, that you should be paying an employee. But then you decide that, well, since this person is desperate, you know that the person is desperate, why not give them the least, you know? And you keep toying with that person until either the person is there and not doing their best, or you just find out that they keep leaving. I used to work at the when I used to work in the bank, and I was talking to one of my colleagues recently, and she was saying that, do you know that these younger ones, they don't stay because they're there for a long time. She says they don't stay, that they are so much smarter than we are. She says, how much they used to pay us then, we're grateful to have this job. She said, but these ones, give them 3 months, they're out. And what would they say to you? They say, all this work and the hours, and this is how much you think you can pay me. Meanwhile, I'm seated at my house and I'm doing all sorts of remote jobs here and abroad, and they are paying me, you know, well for my services. They understand the value that I bring to their company, and they are paying me well for that. But in Nigeria, we tend to just see who we can get away paying less to, and we expect better or efficient or effective employees. Then there's also the thing about the system where it does not, there's no continuity. And you'll be shocked that even well-established in buildings, well-established businesses, you will think that they have like a proper system that tell you when you come in what you're meant to do, what is expected of you. Everybody is just moving on vibes and inshallah. I like to use that now. You know, it's like, today, do this. Tomorrow, no, do that. There is no clear-cut process or a handbook. You know how you go to a place, they give you a handbook. This is how you're supposed to do it. They don't have that. Expected. Everybody now, as long as you have enough money, you put up a structure, you get people together, and you stand at the table and scream at them, and then you go and come back the next day, you scream something else. That's what a lot of us are doing, honestly. So 100%. These things, you need to sit down with people who know how to build up a business, who know how to set up a structure, who understand communication, you know, between employer and employee. Your organogram needs to be well stated. You know, all these things play an important role in how your business eventually works out. But you cannot just put all the blame on an employee who is thinking, today I'm going to work, and the person is afraid because they don't know where the work starts. You know where it starts. If I put one leg wrong now, everything will scatter, and I was not even aware of that I was doing something wrong.
Didn't give them clarity. Let me take Ojekomi. Welcome to the show. Good morning, Mr. Ojekomi. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Awesome. Welcome to the show, Mr. Ojekomi. You are live.
Hello. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. You are live.
Okay, this is Ojekomi from Ifo. All of you have well spoken, but my own contribution is that I think the problem is more from the employer. Okay. In Nigeria, the employer they take advantage of the fact that there are so many people looking for jobs. Yeah. Number one, most of the employers in Nigeria, they are exploiters. Because I've suffered this thing a lot in this as a graduate in this country. True. Despite that, my interest to really work, I'm talking personally now, not speaking for anybody. Based on my own personal experience. Most employers in Nigeria are exploiters and they are extortioners, and they don't like to train, and they will expect 100% from you. Why the person you are bringing, apart from the fact that they pay you less, they will not give you enough information, no detailed explanation on
what you're expected to
what you are supposed to do, and they will expect more from you within a very short time. So, to me, I'm talking based on my own personal experience. The fault of this incompetency, the employer should work more on it. They should, just like what Miriam said, they should have a kind of a strategy and organize things and make sure that the person you are bringing have a detail and also the payment also. So that's my own contribution.
Thank you so much for that. So, they say the head, the leader. According to, I'm like always blame you. have to always blame the leader, and the leader here is the entrepreneur, the employer. But
So like me now, let me take the blame. Yes, since I'm an employer of labor, right? Okay, so recently I sat down and I was thinking, I was like, most times they say customer is king. I now sat down and I was thought deeply and I realized that employer is the employees are the most important people in the business. Without employees, the customers will never get, that satisfaction from your products or services that you are providing. So most times, a lot of people will use agencies. The agencies will already, recruit for you. You will tell them what you want, just like what BC said. Once it's structured, at least you'll be able to tell them, okay, I need somebody that will help me with HR. Do you understand? So they've already done all their recruitment process, everything. They will get you the best person, and then when the person comes, it's now for you to be able to train and make sure that that person is able to align with your goals and policies of your own business. You understand? So most of the time, most of these people, they don't come with passion to understand and contribute in that business and all. And then another thing is, I sat down and I was now like, okay, how do I make these people align and contribute to my business? Number one, most of them, they are not even computer skilled. They don't know anything. They do common Word, Excel, all these PowerPoints, they don't know it. So most times when they come, you have to train them in that area, and cost of trainings, to be honest, is very, very expensive. So that's why most times when they come with that, they are loaded CV with plenty of experience. You think that they have all of this, they know all of this. But by the time you start with them, you now realize that they don't have the basics. So most times, most of the, if you want to work, that's an employee who is looking for a job, make sure that you have at least the basics. The basics is that you must be at least a computer literate. Right now, you can't just come like that without anything that you're going to have. So you should have that basics first of all. Then before we now start talking about the core things that you're supposed to learn and know how to do in the business.
Let me take this call from Chris. Welcome to the show. Good morning. Hello, good morning, Chris. You're live. Welcome to the show. Are you there?
Can you hear us?
Can you hear us?
Yeah, good morning, my sister. You're looking beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good morning, my sister. Yes, I'm here. Hello.
You are listening to the TV. Please just listen to the phone directly.
Yeah, the point.
Oh, so sorry. Let's take a quick break. When we return, we'll continue with this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
TVC Communications, Nigeria's leading independent broadcast company, has been officially designated as a great place to work. Over the past few years, we have transformed our workplace into one which is respectful, caring, rewarding, and provides great benefits to all our 500 employees. We thank our team for giving us the chance to show that partnership between employer and employee really works. TVC Communications, officially designated as a great place to work, and now the only broadcasting and media company, not just in Nigeria, but throughout continental Africa, to be fully certified. TVC Communications, a great Nigerian company, a great Nigerian place to work.
think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regular.
So let me go and look for my jammies.
My 280 was 320. I suppose don't be one medical.
At this point, I contest my jammies.
I want to close the show. I can go. I can. That's all we can take. Ejeki, close the show, G Fadala.
Ladies and gentlemen, number 1 unavailable by Davido featuring Musa Keys.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, shiny, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for number 1 on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now, his name is Rema, and this one is called Charm. Kick it.
Another.
For dessert and a bit of nightcap, we have the...
All right, welcome back and thanks for staying with us. So we're still analyzing this. Is it true that it is the employees that are not efficient or the employers who are not doing the job right? And it's tilting more towards the employers now, and
all of us.
It's tilting more towards the employers. You see, are you favoring the employers or you are favoring the employees?
I think we're going to have to share it 50-50. Yes, we have to share it. Everybody is guilty.
I agree, it's 50-50.
It's 50-50. Everybody's guilty.
Yeah,
there are some people that are already getting it right as they grow. You know, sometimes we forget how many of us started business. Some of us many Nigerians actually start business because they want to eat. They want to survive. Oh, I'm doing this job, it's not paying me enough. What other hustle can I do to add to the table? And then as you grow in the business, you now realize that, oh, okay, I don't have a structure. Oh, okay, I don't have this. Oh, okay, I don't have that. Okay, this is the best thing to begin to do to upscale my business, right? I started my business like, okay, what side, I wasn't thinking of legacy, nothing. What else can I do that will just be giving me small? I just like that, even if it's 5 naira that enters my account, bam, every day. I just liked that idea, right? And then as the business is not progressing, I'm not like, okay, wait a minute, what exactly are we doing? Where's the vision? Where's the mission? Why am I here? And all of that. And then you now realize that, okay, I need these people, I need this staff strength to be able to do my job. So we also need to give grace to some of these startups, right? And I realized also that because I was just starting up and I needed some certain talents, I couldn't just employ people and tell them to follow me up and down or stay in my shop all day. I can't pay them. That meant also paying attention to the times and season. And I asked myself, can they do this work remotely? I have a staff strength of about 7 for years now. They've been consistent with me. It's only 2 people that I see. The rest are in different parts of Nigeria and they're doing their work because I know that I cannot pay them for their time. There are also Gen Zs who would have opportunities to do other jobs. So they're working for other companies as well and they're earning from different places. So I pay my bit, the other person pays their bit. I just give them, okay, this is the target. These are some of the things that I need for this period. And they have been delivering. And have not had issues. Even those that go to school come back, is there still space? I want to come back to you, right? So we as entrepreneurs also need to adjust because times are changing. Gone are the days where you keep somebody, you want to pay somebody 50,000 naira and you keep the person 30 days in a month or 20 days in a month and insist the person will show up, pay for fuel, pay for food, pay for everything for 50,000 naira. That's a bit of wickedness. But when you look at it, that okay, what else? Can you work from home? The nature is not like it's a medical that we need to take temperature and or we're weaving hair or something. Can you work from home? Can you deliver from home? Just
But
make sure that you have
moving
your
with the
deliverables. We have to move with the times. That also helps us. Then personal development. Not everybody has that.
It's compulsory. You need it.
Yeah, not everybody is wired to want to grow in a certain way. And I think it's also the fault of parents. We don't teach our children enough to want to develop by themselves. To just want to be better at whatever they are doing. If you can help children to understand that as you are growing in anything you're doing, your goal is that you become better. You keep becoming better. When you meet people who are naturally motivated to be better, even if they are not working for themselves, they are working for you, you will see that eagerness. They will come up with ideas. Let's try this. Let's do. When you have such people around you, the energy is stopped. My PA now is an amazing young Gen Z that I have seen in a long time. She comes up with the ideas. You just like, we're doing this one today. Sometimes I'm like, please, can you let me rest? I know I'm the one that's employed you, but you are not acting like you are giving me instructions, you know? She's coming up with this. She's making sure that everything is on point. I don't have to chase her. Like I finally adopted her as my child because I see that she's willing to grow and she wants to go back to school. She's telling me she's going back to school to get better at this. I say, Auntie, when you come back, I will pay you what you are worth. Just come back, finish that school and come back to me, right? Not many people are there. They are distracted with so many things. I'm working here, but my mind is see the one that wants to go for a reality show now.
The one that wants to jackpot, the one that they resume every morning at their prayer points. They are using your internet to be good researching.
I had one that was in my house. It was after she left her head. She was praying to land a sugar daddy. That was her goal. She wanted to be a soft girl.
And she was praying to God for it?
Yes.
There's nothing that God has not heard of.
That they told me she wants a sugar daddy that will take care of her. That was her God. That's what I was giving her. She was just there for a bit.
I sort of have a slightly different view concerning sharing the blame 50-50.
Okay.
I'm at a stage in my own business where I feel like the blame should not be 50-50, should be 100% on the employer. I feel that if you employ a bad fit for the job, you made the decision to employ. The employer, no employee got a job without the permission of the employer. So it means that if you feel there's inefficiency, you permitted the inefficiency, you welcomed the inefficiency, you enabled the inefficiency, and the moment you cite inefficiency, you should sack the inefficiency. Okay. So I made an example of something yesterday. I said I was having a conversation with the CEO of Idronoms, and I told him what I experienced with my staff, and he said, you did not sack the person immediately. He said that staff is not going to go back to the office with me. The moment I cite inefficiency, I cite insubordination, I cite someone that does not understand the core value of what I represent, I sack you. Why? You immediately create a culture of what is acceptable in the organization. So by me thinking I'm nice, I am as a leader enabling an environment that creates a culture that does not respect the company or respect me. So if it works, it is the leader, it is the employer. If it goes bad, it is the employer. The moment you see a bad egg, sack the bad egg. Don't sit down and be complaining and be coming on Instagram and Twitter and become lamenting. All of them don't want to work. Ask yourself, have I been a good boss? Let's take a quick break. When I come back, I'll come to Mariam. Okay. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regulars.
So let me go and look for my jam results.
My 280 was 320. I suppose don't be one medical.
At this point, I contest my jam results.
I want to close the show. I can go. I can. That's all we can take. I choose to close the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, at number 1, Unavailable by Davido featuring Musa Keys.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, shiny, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for number 1 on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now, his name is Ramadan, and this one is called Charm. Kick it.
For dessert and a bit of nightcap, we have the nighttime and online specials.
I want to start the gym, yeah? But do you know one thing that's actually keeping me back? You should start the gym though, you're getting fat. Cricket.
She says she does pole dancing to empower women.
What's the difference?
There's a difference.
That's what I'm saying. So pole dancer, you're already almost naked. You're already almost naked.
No, it's the empowerment for me.
Sex can make your relationship better.
No. Sex can never be overrated.
It is needed.
Especially when it's good sex too.
Almost every guy has been with somebody's girlfriend.
But they are for all of us now.
That's why you're still single.
I would not agree or disagree with that because I don't want to get into trouble. I have a home to go to.
Your next question.
Oh, you ready to fail?
Who is the better? You scissors. What is it?
That woman.
Bam! Bam!
Yeah, today we'll go here.
Hey.
Let's catch up now.
I'm sure we've been able to satisfy your cravings, yeah? Stay good. Entertainment, pure entertainment.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. So, before we went to the break, Mariam was going to...
Yeah, say something. No, you know, while you were talking, I was smiling because this morning in the car on my way to work, there was a video of that Nima had put on her story by Mrs. Awoshika. And she was talking about how sometimes the no you're meant to say at a particular point, if you don't say it, it will bite you in the, yes, you go and meet it in front and you say it. And she was just talking about how she had a relative that used to work in her factory and was rude to her in front of all her other staff. And she knew she had to sack him. But her mother and her mother-in-law asked her not to sack him, and she kept him. And, you know, she felt that that was a bad decision on herself and her business. Because what it showed that to others is that she cannot be respected, you know, and it had... And so she was teaching people that, see, when it comes to, in the end, when your interest is important, what works, what pays you is what you should think about when it comes to it. Because everyone is there for what pays them. So if you have a business and you find yourself in that sort of situation, make sure you are thinking about yourself. So when you were saying it, I just thought, you know, you're so right. But one of the things I feel, calling out incompetence or inefficiency, why I will not put it on the employer 100% is at the time you are calling out the inefficiencies when you see it. Remember, the employee comes to you with a picture. You sit down with them, and I tell you that there are a lot of people, they know how to write the CVs. ChatGPT is helping a lot of people. They know how to write the CV. They know how to speak the English. They would speak it for you. They know the words, how to string them all together, but they don't have the experience. And until they have worked for you after a few times, and if you're a human being, a normal human being, you tend to also give people grace, you know, okay, this must be a mistake, this must be a mistake. Then after a while, then you understand. And sometimes these mistakes would have affected your business. So it's not necessarily that you held on to that person. You just held on to the idea of what you were sold. And then, but when you find out, you let the person go. But I was going to talk about this culture that I've noticed with Nigerian employers, and that I am the Oga big man of this place, and do as I do or everybody scatter, you know. Yesterday I was somewhere, and this particular business, don't want to mention the name of the business, and the person had put out an ad asking for a particular position to be filled. I was seated there when a person, in response to that ad, came in and said, I saw your ad. You say you're looking for... Speak up! That's how the person answered. Speak up! Oh my God. I felt like we're busy. You come back tomorrow or something. In my mind, I was like, if I'm the person and I'm not desperate, I'm not coming back. And this person I'm talking about, I know the person, I love the person, I respect the person, but that attitude was rubbish. Why? Because the person came to ask for a job? Why would you do that to another human being? That I'm asking for a job does not make me less than. That you're an employer and I'm an employee does not make me less than you. You know, I'm coming to give you my service. And I know that person needs that position to be filled. So, and you know, and it made me, I was sitting and thinking about it, because she's complained a lot about some of the employees. And I'm like, with this attitude, what do you expect?
Would they complain?
So we need to realize that times are changing. You must give people respect and earn respect. That you're kind and that your understanding does not mean that you're not firm. You can still be firm, respectful and kind, and still be the boss and be respected. Don't treat people anyhow and think, or when they come to you to give you a complaint or ask for a raise or something, instead of respectfully explaining why you can or cannot, you dismiss it, and you dismiss it disrespectfully. Don't do that to people.
It's part of self-development that Lucy spoke about. Self-development, even you mentioned it. I think you mentioned it during the break.
Yes, I said the employer needs to go for trainings themselves and develop themselves as well.
Okay, are you speaking?
Yeah, so I wanted to say something about what Tope said. Tope said 100% on the employer.
We said no.
We said
no.
We said no. But you know, me, when I started my business, I won't say I didn't struggle. I struggled with it. But there are some employees that come. They will not give you their best, that first month, second month. But I'm telling you, from the third month, they may pick up. So if you are the type that, because most of us, especially we entrepreneurs, the first thing we look out for is, this month, this person has to deliver. We already have our goals, and if the person is not, it does not align to those things, we are now like, this person is not delivering, so the person has to leave or something. But we just have to be patient. Some people come, they are slow, but they will get it, and once they pick up, they move. So that's outrightly sacking. That outright sack, every time maybe somebody comes and you just say you're going to sack the person because the person is not delivering, I don't think is the...
No, but I mentioned that was the information someone gave me to deal with a situation that was obviously wrong. By every business standard. That what the experience I had was an experience that was sackable. And there are, we have labor laws in Nigeria, you know, and we have standards. But for every contract, there is a clause of why you should be terminated and the justification for your termination. So it's not going to be like, saying you should sack. When you say sack the person, it's a case of, I need to put out a strong message. If see what's happening in the Senate. I'm going somewhere. See what happened in the Senate. If we've had experiences where some senators have behaved, or some lawmakers, let me not say senators, both House of Rep and senators, some lawmakers have behaved dishonorably in the past, and they were not well dealt with. Like the issue was not nipped. They got away with it. So we have created a culture where lawmakers can disrespect the position they have and get away with it, and you're now wondering why you are going to have more of it. You will have much more of it, because whatever you permit will thrive. So you've permitted it. So that's why, as a boss, you must have that handbook
from the beginning.
You must have that system, and you can, even if you do it from the beginning, you can do a review. Because there was something my husband did this year. I did it like 2 years ago. I issued a new employment letter to everybody with new terms and conditions. When he did it this year, one person voluntarily resigned.
Because he does not.
Because she was like, this is more work. Even though there was more pay, she was like, no, she cannot do it. You can go. This is the new terms of agreement. If it doesn't work for you, you please, with all due, because what you had before was my small business, where I did not know better, and I was just managing, I was learning. But now I have done some courses.
Everybody will evolve
So let's
along.
talk about it. Now that you know better, would you advise that, as small as your business is, when you're employing someone, have a proper letter?
Yes.
No matter
detailed job description.
I
and terms and agreement of.
Yes, we do. I do that even for PSF. You need to sign something. So I wanted to also add that I know that business thrives with competition, and because of that, employers will do whatever it takes to make sure that they maximize profits, pay people less, find a way to enter into the market. If you need to push people down, push people down. If you need to monopolize, and all of that. But I think we should start changing how we do business, right? Because I feel that the universe is abundant, and whatever you find in your hands to do, as long as you are diligently doing it and you're putting in the best that you're going to, into what you're doing, you will grow, and you would have a legacy product. You have a legacy business, right? As we are growing in the business, it's now time to start moving away from the hunger that drove you to start it in the first place. Like, what legacy business am I going to do? So one of the things that I identified in my business and recreating myself is to make sure that I give more, my business gives more in use value than what I take in cash value. So that if you get my product, you will always remember that this product was good to me. You will always, for instance, if you get my hair, you would always be able to use my hair for a very long, use your money, dash a family member will still use, and you know, so I'm intentionally trying to create those products that would last, that would keep my memory or the brand in your mind for a very long time. And if that means that I have to reduce my gains, I will do that, so that at least it's affordable for you to be able to get it, and then it lasts you. So if we start putting our business in such a way that it becomes legacy, it now starts serving humanity, you will see that everything would gradually start aligning. And as we are putting the structures in place, the ones that will not align with your goals will fade out, and that's okay. I went for a CEO strategy meeting a few weeks back, and one of the things we talked about was entrepreneurs not liking the idea of training people and then they are leaving. So it was a major problem. I finished training you, I send you to courses, blah blah blah. Before you know, you have used the CV you built in my office to go and get a good job somewhere else. And I was like, for me, I say it differently. I know that it's painful because you have spent money. But I also see the fact that your story will not be complete tomorrow if you do not mention that you learned certain things and you were trained so and so place from here. Today I'm on TV, but every time I talk about where I worked before, I mention, though I don't mention the name of the school, but I mentioned that my growth actually started from working there. I left at the end of the day. But all the things I have learned so far has followed me to wherever. And I'm trying to be a good ambassador to the place, even though I am no longer there. I know how many referrals I've made to parents to send their children to that school because I knew what I gained, because I'm also a good person. So just do what you can as an entrepreneur. Make sure that you are serving humanity in your business. And this is also a call to those people who want to do fraudulent businesses, where you know that you're doing something like, let's say, skincare, and you're putting chemicals.
That one.
Because you want to make
that one is a topic for another day.
Yes.
Let's take a quick break. When we return, we'll continue on the topic of how the employers can do better and how we're rounding off, but we'll conclude. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Do you think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regulars.
So let me go and look for my jam results.
My 280 was 320. I suppose don't be one medical.
At this point, I contest my jam results.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
That's all we can take.
I choose to
Ejeki, close the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, at number 1, Unavailable by Davido featuring Musa Keys.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, shiny, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for number 1 on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now, his name is Ramadan, and this one is called Charm. Kick it.
For dessert and a bit of nightcap, we have the nighttime and online specials.
I want to start the gym, yeah? But do you know one thing that's actually keeping me back? You should start the gym though, you're getting fat. Cricket.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. So I've discussed far and wide concerning these issues from the employers and employee, the inefficiencies that we observe in our employees and how we can handle it. I think we should focus more on how we can handle it. And I think that we've talked a bit about how we can handle it because BC mentioned personal development and it is so important. You cannot rest on the knowledge you had yesterday. You need to keep on acquiring more knowledge and radical execution of those ideas. However, let's come back to employees. Maybe we can advise a few of these employees. Do you think employees are having unnecessary or exaggerated expectations of what they should get by being an employee? Do you think that we have employees who are jealous of the lifestyle of their employer? Because majority are.
Yes, a lot of them are.
Are you serious?
Yes, they do.
Why?
Some
You're
employees
not inspired. You are jealous.
Some are some are jealous. Some we have had some. I've had a case like that. There was a time, and I got an employee that came. I trained her, did everything for her, you know. And then at the end of the day, there was this customer that I was teaching how to open up a spice business. And when the spice business comes, so when she comes, the way I dress, at some point she started dressing
like you,
like me. You understand? Then after some time, you know, when I come, I'll just see her in my office sitting down. When I come, she will not stand up. She'll be like, no, she's trying to do something and all of that. Of course, she was like my PA kind of. She was the admin person. So sometimes they can be jealous. Sometimes they, you know, are not. But you know what she did? Somebody pushed her. And that thing cost me a lot. I went through a lot at that point in time because the person I was teaching the person how to start up her own spice business. She came. I trained her for 3 months. That 4th month was the month that they pushed her and they left with her. Then she went with all my, you know, because when I was teaching the person how to do the business, I showed the person, I brought in machines for the person, showed the person. So she knows my most selling product, the one that sells more and all of that. Went with that information, gave that other person, and new person started selling same kind of my product. And we're going to my distributors.
This one is
to behavior.
Yes. So I think that honestly life is about competition. But I've attended it's competition. No, I don't like it too. But this Wednesday, when they broke down the competition, in business terms, they'll say don't believe like compete with yourself, face your own lane. But there will be competition. Yeah. You might find your own unique selling point and differentiating factor. You might not be competing with them, but they're competing with you.
And
whenever you acknowledge them,
and then there's some people in business. They are there because you are there already.
Yes.
So they're going to be watching you. Every little mistake you make, they will try to do.
Any good thing you've done,
everything
they will do it.
Yeah.
So when you said training, I would say this advice I've gotten: don't train just one person. Never.
Okay, collective.
Always have a training for a group of people per time. Record your trainings so that you are not exerted every time you need to impact knowledge. So if I'm teaching one person, there's a camera that is recording it. I paid for a training and we have it recorded, so every staff must watch that training. So we don't need to call all those people again.
How about signing agreements?
So agreements they can walk away from your agreement.
After signing?
Yes.
Now you go to court and
if they go to Calabar, you will go and find them from there.
Just ensure that you're not bitter about it. You speak about your training in the school. People will speak about, there are people that have left GT Bank or left Diamond Bank or all those different banks, and they will always say that, look at the people that were in the first set of these banks. All are like talk about these people, wherever they went to, they thrived there. That is a testimony to your platform. So this girl might have gone and built her own business, but she cannot take your story out what you've done to her. So whether you agree with me that business owners should take 100% responsibility, or you agree with my wonderful ladies who are also entrepreneurs and business owners in their own opinion of shared responsibility. Long and short is, the reality is our inefficient workforce is showing up in the quality of production that Nigeria has. And if we want to ramp up our production, we need to ramp up leadership as well as ramp up our workforce. That's all we can take on today's show. It's been an interesting conversation, ladies, this week so far. And you will join BC and the Your View ladies tomorrow. From us, Your View Pigeon ladies. From us, it is still next week.
We'll see you on Monday.
Bye.
Bye.
From us. The us is